that control your life: survivor and life energy. Why do emotions shape our decisions more than logic? Why do some people succeed against impossible odds, while others fail despite every advantage? Why do strong leaders make their worst decision when the stakes are the highest? The answer is not intelligence. It is not talent. And it is not strategy. What makes the difference is your brain's energy state. And strategy doesn't fail in theory. It fails when decision quality collapses under pressure. There are only two energies that run your brain: survivor and life energy.
So the real question is this: what energy state do you use when making decisions in your life? This difference is strategic agility. There's a pattern, as it turns out. All the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple, Nike, Starbucks, or inspirational like Leonardo da Vinci, Marie Curie, Ferdinand Porsche, Steve Jobs, and Sylvester Stallone, they all think, act, and communicate in exactly the same way, and it's the complete opposite for everyone else. A short while ago, I decided to delve deeper into how excellent results are achieved in the business world. This decision profoundly changed my perspective and how I navigate the world. I just coded this, and it's perhaps the simplest idea in the world. I call it survivor energy and life energy. This little idea explains why some organizations and leaders are able to inspire and achieve huge results with small steps. It depends on which part of your brain you're actively using to make decisions. Our way of thinking, behaving, communicating, and even feeling is always governed by these two energy types. The results you obtain stem not from your intelligence or talent, but from your current nervous and physiological state. Most people try to change their results by working harder. That is survival mode. You cannot reach your peak goals within survivor energy states. Its primary purpose is to protect you, making your behavior mostly reactive. The good news is, you can activate your life energy mode simply by changing the way you think or the way you use your body and achieve dazzling results.
Command your internal state.
Just one smile on your face was all it took to change my fortune. Just one word from your mouth was all I needed to be certain.
When I say energy, I'm not talking about motivation. I am talking about electrical and chemical activity that produce every thought you have.
Neuroscience shows us something basic and important. The brain can form new connections and strengthen existing ones. This power is called neuroplasticity. If you use this power through survival energy, you use survivor energy states: super reasonable, irrelevant, placating, or blaming. The result? Analysis paralysis and a struggle just to survive the day. But when you use this power through life energy, you connect with your personal potential, clarity increases, decisions become sharper, and execution becomes a natural reflex. You start to have an impact on life. Effective leadership begins the moment you can shift yourself into this commanding mode. Master the most capable part of your brain and become someone who dominates life. Nobel Prize-winning research: the biological trap that destroys decision quality. Daniel Kahneman showed that the mind operates in two modes. 1. Fast mode, reacts to survive. 2. Slow mode, thinks for strategy, judgment, and reason. Under pressure, this is the problem. At the exact moment strategic thinking is required, the nervous system locks into survival mode. Control is lost. Reaction overrides strategy. The solution is not a better plan. It is a faster shift in state. Effective leaders and high-performing individuals regulate their mental and physical state first. Then decision quality rises. Business failure equals failure in survival mode. I call this the Titanic effect. Leaders who operate their brains in this mode believe they are unsinkable. They trust their strategy, their talent, and their budget. However, when leadership operates from survival energy, the internal system fills with fear and noise. Business history shows this clearly. BlackBerry once controlled more than 40% of the global smartphone market. Then, the fear of change took over. They saw the iPhone as a toy rather than an opportunity. What failed was not the technology, it was the state of leadership. When the threat appeared, their system locked into survival mode. When you act from survival energy, you lose the ability to assess situations realistically.
Remember, never forget. All of your life has all been a test. You'll find the gate that's open, even though your spirit's broken.
Life energy, where leaders command life and win. This is the state where leaders regain command. These are life energy states. I call this Rocky effect.
Even when conditions look impossible, effective leaders and people regulate their internal systems into their most capable state to dismantle every obstacle. The core power of high-performing teams is psychological safety. Harvard professor Amy Edmondson discovered a groundbreaking idea: psychological safety. Professor Edmondson showed that when people feel safe to speak, question, and admit mistakes, performance rises. Silence is a signal of survival energy. When fear is present, intelligence stops flowing and talent shuts down. A leader's real role is not control. It is to keep the culture in life energy. Global brands activate life energy. This isn't just how individuals change. It's how companies move people forward. Great brands don't motivate with fear. They activate life energy. Apple doesn't talk about phones. It says, think different. Nike doesn't say, don't fail. It says, just do it. Starbucks doesn't sell coffee. It sells comfort. These messages don't trigger survival. They trigger movement, connection, and possibility. That's life energy at scale.
Down in your heart, find the secret. Turn your head around, baby. We can do it alright.
Great minds. Same pattern. Marie Curie, the energy shift. No money. No university. No future. Most people stop here. Survivor energy says, accept the limit. Marie didn't wait for the system to change. She changed her internal state. She stopped reacting to no and started building yes. In life energy, the brain sees opportunities, not walls. She worked in impossible conditions. She isolated radium. She became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. When she lost her husband, she didn't freeze. She taught, she led, she created. Her advantage wasn't intelligence. It was her energy state. Energy shifts first. Decisions change. History follows. Let's take a look at the great genius of history. Leonardo da Vinci had no formal education, no safety net. He could have stayed in survival. Instead, he chose curiosity. He observed nature. He studied life. This shift in focus triggered life energy. And when his energy shifted, the world-famous Da Vinci was born. Have you heard how the global icon Porsche was born? Ferdinand Porsche was just a mechanic. He wanted a fast car, but it didn't exist. He could have accepted the limit. He could have stayed in survival. Instead, he flipped the switch. I couldn't find the sports car of my dreams, so I built it myself. The energy shifted. Possibility appeared. The Porsche legacy was born. Here's another interesting story. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. He hit survival energy, anger, shame, and a collapsed nervous system. But he didn't stay there. He stopped reacting and started redirecting. He shifted back into a regulated, creative state. Once his energy changed, the results followed. Next was born. Pixar was built. Strategy is only accessible when your nervous system is in balance. Life energy unfroze his potential. Energy first, outcomes second. Sylvester Stallone lived in survivor mode for 6 years. He had $106 and a world saying no. He had to sell his dog to survive. He was paralyzed in survival energy. Then one night, he watched a boxing match between Chuck Wepner and world champion Muhammad Ali. Even though he knew he would be hit by another punch every time, Wepner kept standing up again and again. Stallone watched him standing in the ring against world champion. He stayed on his feet for 15 rounds. Wepner maybe had one chance to throw a punch, and he took it. The champion went down. At that moment, something changed in Stallone's mind. He saw a man standing up to life. A man who had only one chance. Fear stepped aside. Life energy came online. For the first time, he connected so powerfully with his own potential. And by writing nonstop for 3 days, he wrote the script for Rocky. Producers offered $330,000 to buy the script, but take his role. He could have chosen security. He could have chosen survival. Instead, he chose identity. I'm going the distance. He stayed in life energy under extreme pressure. A legend was born.
How to switch to life energy? Enable yourself actable. This is how the best create results. 1. Control your thoughts and change your way of thinking.
An award-winning Harvard Medical School psychologist Susan David calls this emotional agility the ability to step outside your thoughts, see them clearly, and choose the response that serves you. Under pressure, most people ask, why is this happening to me? This question activates the brain in survival mode. Instead, use a smarter thinking model. Focus your attention on how to handle the situation in a way that will empower you. This simple change moves you out of survival and brings you back into life energy. And you become the person who takes control of your own life. See differently, decide differently, create the future.
2. Use the power of physiology and control your body.
Research by Amy Cuddy shows that body posture directly influences how powerful and in control we feel. In just 2 minutes, posture can shift the nervous system out of survival and back into regulation. Watch elite athletes in the final seconds of a game. Before a decisive free kick, a soccer player adjusts posture, stance, and breath. Before a game-winning shot, players set their body and their thoughts. They don't wait for confidence. They create it through the body, because the brain is a follower. You can do the same before a critical meeting, a boardroom decision, or a high-stakes conversation. Change your posture, change your breathing, change your physical rhythm. 2 minutes. That's all it takes to shift the nervous system out of survival and back into regulation. Every challenge is a moment of choice. Survivor energy mode, the defense mode, reacts to protect what already exists. Life energy mode, the command mode, acts to achieve impactful results. At the Connext event at Harvard Business School, I met Tommy Amaker, the Harvard basketball coach. He said something I've never forgotten. A setback is just a setup for a comeback. That's not motivation. That's energy intelligence. Command your life. Life energy follows. Life is full of miracles and opportunities. And the only thing that will change our lives is changing our way of thinking, or it is about utilizing the power of our physiology. There is extraordinary potential within you, powerful enough to transform your life.
You don't need more motivation. You need the right energy state. Change the energy behind your decision and result follow. Before your next critical decisions, pause and test your state. Are you in survivor or life energy? Change your energy state, change your result, change your life. Join the energy movement that elevates the world. Activate your life energy and dominate life. Live with max energy.